Welcome back now. It's time for Ayotunde Balogun to give us an update what's happening in the sports world.
That's right. Now, the atmosphere in Addis Ababa is turbocharged and the fever is spreading across the East African country with the arrival of the Super Eagles for Sunday's 2014 FIFA World Cup qualifier or playoffs. Now, the African champions were warmly received by the locals at the airport who sought for photographs with the Nigerian stars as they made their way to the team bus. The draw, which pits Ethiopia's Walia Antelopes up against Nigeria's Super Eagles, is seen by many football enthusiasts as the popular David meets Goliath battle in the Bible.
Nigeria will visit Ethiopia in October and host the return leg match in November.
On paper, it wouldn't take a knowledge of rocket science to figure out which side is or isn't the overwhelming favorite. Super Eagles may indeed possess a multi-talented group of players, but they will be acutely aware of the threats posed by the East Africans, who were former African champions themselves way back in 1962.
Looking at their faces, I think the expression will tell you how high spirit they are for this game, and we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Everybody knows the importance of this game. It's important not to Nigerians but to ourselves, and we owe it to Nigerians to say that we got the ticket to the World Cup.
I think all the players should know the importance of the game, so coming to the camp now, I think everybody is ready for the game.
Nigeria is currently ranked 4th in Africa, with the Antelopes a distant 25th in the continental hierarchy. Obviously, the gap, you will agree, is colossal. The two teams have met 7 times before, with Nigeria winning 4 of those games, with the other 3 matches ending in a draw.
The Ethiopians have never had it so good as regards going close to qualifying for a World Cup. They used to be African powers in the early 60s, that's when they won the Nations Cup last. But ever since then, things have not gone their way. But thanks to Chan and their development, their team got way into the African Champions League this time. I'm talking about St. George's. And coupled with the fact that they have a few players outside their country, they are in with a shout.
Our boys have got what it takes. If we could beat Mali 4-1 in a neutral ground in South Africa, then we should be able to beat Ethiopia by any scoreline over there. I'm not underrating them, but for me, I was okay. Let me be fair to them. 2-0 will be okay in Addis Ababa on Sunday.
If the pedigree of the two teams is anything to go by, Nigeria winning the tie over 2 legs looks a more likely proposition. In the end, however, the tables just might turn in favor of either side through a moment of magic or a flash of genius. World Cup 2014 ticket in Brazil is surely now up for grabs. Well, still on the race to reach Brazil 2014, Burkina Faso kicked things off with a home win over the Desert Warriors of Algeria. Hitman Jonathan Petropa opened scoring for the hosts in the 45th minute with a superb header, but Sofiane Feghouli equalized for the away side 5 minutes after the restart. Jakariga Kone restored the lead for the Stallions in the 66th minute, only for Carl Medjani to level matters for the Desert Warriors 4 minutes later. Aristide Banse, however, secured victory for the Burkinabés with a penalty in the 86th minute. In the other game of the day, Côte d'Ivoire recorded a convincing 3-1 win over Senegal, courtesy of 2 goals from Didier Drogba and 1 from Salomon Kalou, along with a Lamine Sané own goal. Well, the late Papi Cisse strike proved a mere consolation on the day for the Senegalese. That's in the sports news. The news at 10 continues shortly.
On the foreign scene, we're staying here in Africa. President Goodluck Jonathan has joined other African leaders to express their disappointment at the International Criminal Court for ignoring their request to defer prosecution of some cases involving African leaders. They took this position at the extraordinary summit of heads of states and government of African Union in Ethiopia to discuss Africa's relationship with the ICC. They, however, failed to agree on AU members withdrawing from the International Criminal Court.
Finally, it should be underscored that our goal is not and should not be a crusade against ICC, but a solemn call for the organization to take Africa's concerns seriously. There is no reason why the ICC finds it difficult to accept the legitimate request. Ultimately, what we all aspire is to see is for Kenyans to reconcile and live in peace and harmony.
Outside of Africa and in Asia, some 500,000 people have fled their homes as Cyclone Phelan makes landfall in eastern India with winds reaching speeds of about 200 kilometers per hour. Categorized as very severe by weather forecasters, Cyclone Phelan was predicted to hit Orissa and Andhra Pradesh states this evening. The Meteorological Department has predicted the storm will bring winds of up to 220 kilometers per hour. And the main news again. Governor of Niger State, Dr. Muazu Aliyu, has given assurance that the North will participate fully in the proposed national conference. Delta Central senatorial by-election was today held in 8 local government areas of the state amid complaints of irregularities by some voters. And the African Union has condemned the International Criminal Court for ignoring its request to defer some cases involving African leaders. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I'm Harriet Agbini. Good night.